Today, I'm going to talk to you about your crown chakra. It's a really important chakra. They're all really important, but this one's really super duper important. I hope you like our time together.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Several years back, and I do mean several years back, I was in Glastonbury, England with my friend Stephanie, and we were traveling around the downtown area, meandering through the shops and just kind of letting ourselves be guided by wherever we were meant to go, whether we were pulled in certain directions or going towards intriguing sights, sounds, smells, both internally and externally. And we happened upon this copper shop, and it's not there anymore, which kind of really bums me out, actually. I was like, no. Anyway, whoever owned it had these copper figures that were fashioned, right? And we walked in and we were like, oh, this place is kind of cool. You could go sit in a copper pyramid, like a giant one where you could go sit in and meditate. And as you probably know, copper conducts electricity, but I don't know the otherwise spiritual effects of copper, but this place seemed to have a handle on it. I remember I was looking just diligently at little tchotchke things or whatever, and Steffi taps my shoulder and she points, and I turn, and there's this man that has come in with his family. He wasn't really interested in looking around. I had seen him before I started looking at the tchotchkes, and at this time he had sat kind of in a window seat, this big cushy cozy chair, but he happened to be sitting beneath a pyramid that was suspended. And unbeknownst to him or anyone else in the shop, as we looked around, unbeknownst to anyone other than Stephanie and I, we noticed that the pyramid above his head, above his crown chakra, was starting to spin, slowly spin, and then spin faster and faster and faster. And those of you that work with pendulums know what I mean when these things start going kind of on their own. And it was really cool for us because someone in his family called him to the back of the shop, and he gets up out of the cushy chair and he heads towards them. And as he does, the copper pyramid that was suspended was above his head starts slowing and slowing its rotation until it completely stops. Listen, I have been waiting like a whole year to tell you this story because it was just so cool. And every time I wanted to tell you, Spirit's like, no, save it for the crown chakra. And so I have obliged. It was his crown chakra had caught up this copper pyramid, right? And it was spinning, sensing the energy pouring out of his crown chakra. And as I've told you, the chakras come out like a funnel, if you will, from small, about an inch or 2 inch in diameter from our body, from our being out, and it expands as it goes out like a funnel. And his was up and open, and this copper pyramid was like in full on rotation. It was so cool. It was so cool for us. It also reminded me, because his head was very far from this copper pyramid, it also reminded me that the upper chakras are a significant area of really, I don't know how well they've been studied. I'd like to study them more. Traditionally, perhaps you've heard of lower chakras and upper chakras. Well, I want to challenge that. I actually feel like the lower chakras are solar plexus on down, all the way to the earth chakra. And then the middle chakras, if you will, are heart to brow. And then the upper chakras begin actually with the crown chakra. The crown chakra is like the gateway to the real upper chakras, in my opinion. And I believe that his energy vortex of upper chakras was what made it spin. But absolutely the crown chakra, because that's the gateway. That's where all of these vibratory spaces can be experienced. I mentioned the last time that we were together that I believe all the chakras are definitely, they can give us insight into experiences and where we're living from or resonating from or vibrating from. But I do believe that the upper chakras are more so states of consciousness. I know the lower ones can be states of consciousness too, where people reside and live from and get caught up in, right? We can get caught up or blocked in any of our chakras and just be kind of stuck there, whether functional or dysfunctional from those places. But I really feel like that the crown chakra on up has to do with higher conscious, higher frequencies of awareness, if you will. Your crown chakra is located at the center top of your head. So if you were to put your palms of your hands or the base of your palms are at the top of your ears, and then bring your fingertips together at the top of your head where your two middle fingers would meet is pretty much where your crown chakra is. It's not always necessarily easy to feel on yourself when you're trying to scan it, right? But it can be quite easy to feel on someone else. So if you want to give it a go, don't forget you're scanning it with right or left hand, whichever one to you feels more receptive of energy or feeling energy. You can start by energizing your hands, just having your hands together, close together, but not touching, kind of feeling warmth and setting the intention to feel and sense energy with those hands, right? It's all about intention. And then whichever one feels like it's receiving the feeling stronger, you can use that to pass above the crown chakra, still within their auric field, so that you're passing about 2 inches from the head, right? And just notice how it feels. Notice if it's heading off in one direction or the other, or is straight center, and how strong it feels. So with yourself, this is the area that sometimes it's really nice to put your hands on your head and just do your own healing work, right? Sometimes I fall asleep with my hands on my head because I'm just like, all right, I'm going to just do some energy work on my crown chakra. You might want to see how that feels, right? The color within the light spectrum is violet, and the note is F. And the healing crystals and stones that I use amethyst, and actually diamond does a great job with the crown chakra, but also clear quartz. Clear quartz is like the universal clearing stone of anything. So when in doubt, hold the clear quartz up there. I think that's always fabulous. Dhyana mudra is the hand mudra that I use when working with my crown chakra. And also, it's the same mudra that I use when I am meditating for the higher realms. I have spontaneously gone into this hand mudra since I was young, didn't tell anyone. Just did not want to. I don't know why. It's just weird stuff I did. In my mind, it was just stuff I did. I thought everybody did it, right? You just do it. And it's my go-to hand mudra. The way to do it is I do it with triangle. So Dhyana mudra with triangle. And what you do is you place your hands in your lap, palms up, and you have the left hand underneath the right hand. And then you bring your thumbs to touch each other and it forms a little triangle. You could also just do it flat without the thumbs forming the triangle, but I've always done the triangle. And there's another one I'll tell you about that I always do. Those are my 2 go-tos. But anyway, what this is known for is balancing the right and the left regions of the brain and your body. And it helps to release tension from your body and calms your mind. And I can vouch to all of those. And that's why I feel it's my go-to when I'm just leaving my body, if you will, and going into the higher realms of experience. This is fabulous when you want to meditate on your crown chakra, kind of tuning into what's happening there, but also just the calming and stillness and calming and going to that quiet space of nothingness. Dhyana mudra is also the hand mudra that the Buddha is often pictured with, having his hands in Dhyana mudra. So I'm sure you've actually seen it, whether you've realized it or not. Actually, I'm just going to tell you my other favorite. And in doing so, I'm going to then give you 3 variations of this. The one is when you just have your hands lying in your lap, one on top of the other with your palms up, right? And then the other one is with the triangle where the thumbs meet, like I had mentioned. And the last one this is an interesting one. The hands are still in the lap, one on top of the other with palms up. And your pointer finger, if you will, of each finger is bent up and your thumbs touch the top of these pointer fingers, so that you're basically making 2 circles, right? If you will. And that one is one that I really stumbled upon in a meditation. A lot of times I allow myself, wow, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I just let my body go to do what it wants to do. And sometimes I go into spontaneous asanas, yoga postures, or hand mudras. And this was one of the ones that just came upon me. I didn't really come upon it. Again, you see the Buddha holding this one often. It's a definite about complete absorption in contemplation, whatever your meditation is going to be. This will help those of you that have your minds stray and thoughts stray. Try this because it works to focus the mind. It really helps when we work with the upper chakras in regards to oneness and unity and raised consciousness, stuff like this. So use these wisely. Experiment with 3 different ones. Try one for a whole week, both hands in the lap flat, one upon the other, palms up. Try the second one where you're making the triangle where just the thumbs meet. And then thirdly, try my fave. See, it is my fave for the final time where your pointer finger, your index finger forms 2 circles, right, with your thumbs. And I think you're going to love these. If you practice yoga or have gotten approval to practice yoga from your doctor, this is a doozy. But for the crown chakra, I recommend Sirsasana. It is the headstand posture. And you could also do a kneeling headstand if that is more doable for you. I used to be able to do this ages ago. My daughter does it all the time. I'm more apt to do the kneeling headstand these days. But what you do is you want to make sure that you're definitely doing a headstand on your head. So you keep the top of your head on the mat, right? And the balance of your body is weighted on your head and your hands. And your elbows are squeezed in to kind of strengthen you because you've got your elbows, your forearms down on the mat beside your head. Your spine is straight. Your core is definitely strongly engaged. Very important for maintaining the erect posture as well as no pressure on the low back. Your hip is aligned over your shoulders and your feet are extending with the energy of your body moving upwards, if you will. This is fabulous for the crown chakra as it stimulates physical and mental feeling of harmony and balance. It also stimulates your nervous system. It increases mental clarity because it's increasing blood flow to the brain. It is known to improve digestion. It promotes cardiovascular circulation because you're upside down. It helps to decrease fluid buildup in the lower body. All these lovely benefits for our purposes with the crown chakra in regards to spiritual work or psychic work. It does bring invigorating energy to that part of your head. If you are not one that can do the yoga asana, I wonder how it would be to be doing head taps, bringing awareness to the top of your head, to the crown of your head, right? Or holding your head with Reiki energy. If you're not a Reiki person, we all have healing energy in our hands. If you're a Reiki person, fantastic, because then you know what I'm talking about. It brings the awareness there and could be very loving and wonderful and yummy. But if you are totally into yoga, Sirsasana is the one to use for the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is your center for inspiration and mysticism. It is your center of intuition, and I use that word accurately in my world, right? You know my world. You're in my world where intuition is ClairCognizance and knowing, right? And then it also, the crown chakra is you're opening up to the upper chakras, anything beyond the physical, right? And in regards to kind of some of the attributes, it definitely does physically associate with your nervous system and your muscular and skeletal system and your brain and the pineal gland. It has to do with values and ethics and courage and your ability to fully function and your ability to see the larger pattern. It is where your faith and inspiration are affected here, and your ability to experience spiritual wisdom flowing to you, right? Because if the crown chakra is blocked, you won't get connection from higher realms as much as you might otherwise. Prayer and spiritual practice helps keep it open. This is also your center of spirituality and devotion. It's your ability to trust life. Sometimes when I'm working on people and I notice that their earth chakra's off, their connection to the planet. Remember, that's where sometimes I pick up where people are, just not sure they want to stay on in this life. I also work the crown chakra, especially because it helps to balance out their ability to trust life and this very life. The crown chakra also has to do with your ability to plan and see the future. It is intellectual abilities, even though that's, in my experience of doing this work, predominantly in the brow chakra, where I find more intellectual abilities, but also to crown chakra definitely covers mental capacity. It's also where I find whether someone has an openness to the idea of others and also their ability to learn from experience and make decisions. Sometimes with that one, I'll work the whole head of the person because perhaps if there's been a trauma or a concussion or something, I will definitely work the crown and the brow chakra and the whole brain, right? Really, truly. The crown chakra covers our experience of linear space and time, which then can be kind of done away with once you go into the upper chakras, but we'll get into that more wholeheartedly, I promise you. Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self-discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This journal is for you to document your quest for self-discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in. When people present with imbalances in their crown chakra, sometimes I can come across that they've had, they're experiencing dizziness or vertigo, if you will. I might also find some energetic and psychotic disorders happening, or people come to me with psychotic disorders that I discover that they really have some energetic confusion in the crown chakra. Also, this is where I treat mystical depression when that's happening, or chronic exhaustion that does not have a physical origin. Sometimes when people are feeling dreadfully alone, I'll treat the crown chakra. Or if they're feeling non-aliveness, if they're just really not feeling connected to this life or a sense of purpose, right? I would definitely also treat the solar plexus and the earth chakra, but sometimes it's all actually in the crown chakra that imbalance is found. This is also where I find when people are feeling cut off from real functioning in life, and also when they have extreme sensitivities to light and sound or other environmental factors, I'll check the crown chakra. Usually this is where I can feel trauma registered, especially if they've gone through bouts of disassociation or disassociative tendencies. And therefore there's an inability to face reality here because they're just still caught up in the disillusionment of what happened within the trauma experience. Nobody, it's like, what the hell just happened? This is also an area of the crown chakra I treat when there's some upset by severe grief or a deep shock that someone's gone through. And this is also an area that I treat when people are experiencing mental illness like bipolar disorder or even issues with any brain injury, all crown chakra. I work the crown chakra too, aside from other areas of the body, especially the brain. Because inspiration and mysticism and this being the center of intuition and downloads of knowing without knowing how you are getting the information. This all happens in the same area of the brain and energetic vortex. So it is not surprising to me when people come with concerns about whether they're having a psychotic break or a spiritual awakening. These two are closely aligned, and I can sense them at the crown chakra. These are also where delusions of grandeur happen. Sometimes, people will align with an archetype of like Jesus, Mary, Muhammad, Buddha, Abraham. But, it's interesting because they feel that they are these people as opposed to an alignment with them, right? So there's a difference. You can feel aligned with those archetypes or those beings, those enlightened beings. You can feel aligned with them, but, were you them in another incarnation? In my experience, I just don't see, Buddha coming back as a regular guy having struggles with what these people present as. So usually what it is sometimes there are delusions of grandeur, whether from a psychotic break that can happen in various episodes, or it could be a spiritual awakening, or it could be this whole feeling of what's called a Christ complex, or when you know that you're supposed to do something wonderful and amazing on the planet in either a small or a large way, right? Always small or large way. We don't know in your world, in your circle, or in the world at large. And if you don't follow that path, sometimes it builds up, the energy and the momentum builds up within the crown chakra. And then we think we have to save the world, or we feel we've been born to save the world. And what I've found is that we're all born to save the world, and we're all meant to save the world. And some of us are meant to do it in small ways, and others meant to do it in large ways. And I think if everybody did it in a large way, the world would be saved. So that would be good. So get at it, people. But you hear what I'm saying? This is a very fine line. I definitely have tapped into people where I can sense that they resonate with being a prophet of the past or whatnot. And so I have to work with spirit to say, is this accurate? Am I dealing with, Jesus on my table, or Mary Magdalene reborn, or, Isis reborn, or whatever? Usually the answer has come back that they resonate with that frequency, but they were not really born into that. It's really that they're aligning with that so much, but they don't know where to put that energy and how to live out that path in their life. And so the crown chakra is where I usually find kind of energy that needs to be brought back into balance and perspective, if you will. I think it will be helpful when I teach you about personal meditation and tuning in to yourself and your path and your journey, which I really haven't gotten into yet. It will help you troubleshoot those times when you feel like, oh my God, I'm, supposed to have the next Christ child, or I really know that I'm, I don't know, Cleopatra, who knows? Hey, did I tell you that was my great, 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 great aunt? I'm just saying, it's true. It's really true. Listen, I don't mean to sound trite or joking about it, but I do have people that come in and they resonate with certain frequencies. But, I have to say, you might feel like you're the Dalai Lama, but the Dalai Lama is alive. But you might be a, Bodhisattva in training or whatnot. And so it really is about honoring what you know, but also clarifying what is true. And that's always an interesting task for me in my work. I do think that we are all born special and we're all born with purpose. I really do believe that, even if it's a small purpose or a larger purpose, small scale, large scale. But I think that we also come in with moments in our life that we have these spiritual awakening opportunities where we've come in through an initiation, if you will. And sometimes illness, right, can be an initiation to a next way of being and living in our life. Sometimes divorce can be an initiation. Sometimes a loved one passing away, death, or it can be an initiation. These are opportunities to grow, to shift, to uplift not only our life, but the lives of those around us. We learn when we're uncomfortable. And so sometimes when people come in with any of these kind of experiences in life that have gotten them down or bogged them down, and they're in the process of kind of rebranding or reawakening or, awakening or realigning with their path and their purpose, I often work the crown chakra. And I just want you to know, as I'm recording this, if you feel that there's, that's something that you're going through as a spiritual kind of awakening through a hardship, you're not alone. This is the school of learning. And, unfortunately, like I said, sometimes we learn when we're uncomfortable, but you are meant to pass through and get stronger. Even like beings and mystics that have gone through dark night of the soul, it's to challenge them to get them to a higher space, I think, of awareness. I really firmly believe that. I know for myself, when there were times when I couldn't hear spirit, it was because I was supposed to work on seeing spirit. And then I was grateful when I got it all back. I was like, what's going on? What's going on here? These are the times that we sit in meditation, right? And we sit with our hands in our lap and we tune in and say, what's happening right now? I'm really feeling out of sorts. I'm feeling like, am I the Dalai Lama? Am I not the Dalai Lama? And you can get to a higher state of truth, but we'll work with that on down the line. I'm just saying I'm not, even though I am kind of making fun, I'm not really making fun. I'm being compassionate because it's something that I've seen in my work. And it's something I've gone through myself with my own work. When things got really bottled up in my crown chakra because I was having massive spiritual awakening after awakening after awakening in different parts of my life, but especially when I said, yes, okay, bring it on. I'll do this. I always had mystical experiences throughout my life, but it wasn't really until I confirmed and committed to this as my work on the planet, that things really started downloading. And there were times when it was bottled up. This is kind of similar to when people are attuned with Reiki energy and they feel their hands are so hot that they have to go put their hands on somebody and do healing because it's just flowing through them. It's flowing through them. The same with spiritual awakening and spiritual awareness, which comes into the crown chakra. You got to channel that energy out in a way. And so sometimes for me, I was like, anyone want to read? Initially, and then, it was a fun thing to do. And it was a way to kind of allow the information and the experience and the vibrational frequency to pass through me. Then I learned that I could also do it with automatic writing, getting information from my guides, sitting in spirit and learning with spirit, going through the different realms to learn, going through different realms in meditation time. And all of this is accessed through the crown chakra, through their higher consciousness, which we'll get to next. But it's fabulous. The crown chakra is a great kind of a portal, if you will, of knowing to the other realms. The crown chakra is also your space, your vibrational space, vibratory space for your connection to God's source energy. Sometimes people connect through the heart chakra. Sometimes people connect through the crown chakra. And you see this a lot in religious pictures when you see the saints or enlightened beings gazing up, looking up. It's that connection to the higher frequency vibrations. This is what this is. When you make that connection with God's source energy, you feel good. Everything goes smoothly. Even in turmoil and upset, you have a greater awareness. You have greater wisdom and greater understanding and fortitude, strength. In my Catholic upbringing are the gifts of the Holy Spirit, but they're accurately yeah, well done. Well done, because it's just the truth. You are in that vibrational space, and we'll work to get you to that vibrational space and sustaining that vibrational space to the best of your ability. When we move up in through the crown chakra, we are connected to that pure positive energy of love, right? And you not only have that kind of wash over you so that you can come to a place of self-respect and self-love, but you can come to a place of respect and love of others. And you become more aware of the interconnectedness of all that is, that's going to happen in the upper frequencies, the upper chakras beyond the crown chakra. Initially when people were working with the chakra system, they were initially working with the 7 in the body, the major chakras in the body. There's, like I've told you, numerous minor chakras throughout the body. But initially, the ancient past, they would work with the 7 major chakras in the body. But as our awareness to the information changes and our experience of going into these other spaces within each chakra, we can discern and uncover and experience these other vibratory planes, which is what we're going to start getting into. What's beyond the crown chakra? The crown chakra is the gateway opening to the higher self and to divine consciousness and connection to source, God energy, connection to the spirit realm, connection to that frequency of love, oneness, connecting with others. It's a higher state of awareness than the ego conscious mind, right? It's a different perspective, if you will. And when you lean into this connection of being in this space, the interconnectedness of all that is, you thrive. It's like probably being in the Tao. You are in the flow of life, and there's no limit to the available abundance, whether the abundance is for any kind of abundance. I'm not going to actually say it. I'm going to just say any kind of abundance. We're all on various paths, and you can jump on any path you want in this work, as long as this work, they all lead to highest source. That's what this is about. Another way that you can mess up the energy of the crown chakra is when you negate spiritual experiences as they are happening or after they happen. Sometimes when we have a spiritual experience, we want to share this episode or our take on what has happened with others. And in the translation, sometimes it diminishes the experience. And so I just want to caution you against sharing your spiritual experiences. If you must share, just put them in a journal, keep them in a journal, and hold them sacred, for they are sacred. So hold them sacred for a while before you decide to share. So the biggest block for the crown chakra would, of course, be denying that you're having spiritual experiences or being afraid of them. Don't be afraid of them. Lean into them with love. Know that when you're pursuing or seeking these kind of spiritual connections, that you're grounding and you're protecting and you're going for that which is for your highest good, and really leaning into the love and the light that is available to you. We'll get further into this in the next episode, but really this week, if you have spiritual experiences happen, definitely be open to them. Be open to them. Don't shut that down. Don't close that door. Don't close that door that is the crown chakra. So, in conclusion, like all your chakras, your crown chakra is supposed to spin properly. And it is the only chakra that doesn't really extend out the front and the back of the body. All the rest extend out front and back, or, anchor down to the earth. This just goes straight up. Whoosh. And when it's spinning properly, it allows you to have an energy flow of connectivity back and forth. And the flow of energy can come into your body through all the way to the earth, much like we do in our meditation time, to help run the energy all the way through from the crown chakra to the earth. It can be blocked by stress, mental, emotional upheaval, anxiety, and also not living your authentic self, not living to your truth. And when it's blocked or misaligned or kind of out of whack, your well-being can suffer, and it can affect, making you have headaches and all kinds of things, confusion, instability, imbalance, and upset, right? Again, the crown chakra is the gateway to SuperConsciousness, if you will. And we're going to dive into the rest of those in the next segments. Love the crown chakra. When I do attunements on people with Reiki, it opens up the crown chakra and floods all the energy, and it's fabulous. They have powerful experiences. I remember mine. They were amazing, quite mystical. So I am going to pray that you have a beautiful mystical experience this week, and that you will not push it away or shut it down or close the door. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what help me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps, and I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues and other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful.
Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.